feel strange, as if the objects in here are alive.
Get you back from her!
Hessa, Jasima, Shoo, give me a moment to gaze upon.
Mother? I thought you were dead, and you're...
Ancient, wrinkled, a doddering crone. No, I am not the woman you remember, Sophia. Nor am I your mother in the sense you have always believed me to be.
The voices. I understand it now. You and I, my mother, we're all parts of the same person. The same soul.
My sweet daughter, you are all that was best in me. Everything that Akachi loved and gave his soul to protect lives in you. Of all the wicked things I have done to save him, you are innocent, blameless. You began as a part of me, Sophia, but now you are more.
So the woman I knew as my mother, was me, or rather, us?
I'll tell you all of it, Sophia. Let me just greet...
Yes, all in good time. There's someone you should meet.
My Akachi, how our faces have changed. I've seen hags that are comelier than the prune that I've become. And you wear the skin of a lady. What a pair we are, my love. I must be hideous to you. To him, if Akachi was not the thing that he is, he would turn away from me with loathing. But he is not. The man that I loved is gone, reduced to an empty hunger that seethes beneath your flesh. And the fault is mine. I was the one he went to save, the soul he tore from the wall. So much lost for one fool girl. My beloved launched a crusade and sacrificed all that he was. Better that he had left me to rot, perhaps, and found another pretty thing to distract him from his faith. I would not. Love had not become real to me, not until the wall. I'd have mourned his fate and turned away. If he was here, I would tell him, I have never rested since that day. This academy, all you've seen here, all this was for him. I know I cannot bring him back, but I can end his pain and the punishment that he never deserved. You have given me that chance. Did I place you in the barrow? Yes. Allow you to be joined with the monster that my beloved has become? Yes. Did I tear the shard of Gith from your chest? Not with pride, but yes. I have deceived you, relied upon your own self-interest to end my lover's curse, done evil for his sake, yes.
Then you deceived me as well. You never told me the truth. You merely said...
that the stranger's life was worth more to me than all the lives on all the planes. That you should treat this stranger as if...
As if she was as dear to me as you. As if I loved her.
Sophia, I never lied to you. You didn't understand my words then, but they were true nonetheless. And you, stranger, who have suffered so much for a love you never knew, yes, you must think me a monster. But what do good or evil matter in the face of love? Love will break an oath, shatter a man's faith, and outlive God's. Love endures when your greatest hope is merely to end the suffering of your beloved, even if he can never again be yours. Fragments, yes. If one of us was slain, the others would carry on, and Akachi would not be abandoned. And each of them had talents of her own, a mind, a soul, can be teased apart, its elements distilled. Every person has talents, weaknesses, obsessions, all but the strongest are drowned out in the clamor of the mind. Sever one aspect from the rest, and suddenly it is stronger, more focused than it was as part of the whole.
Then, the voices I hear...
were our voices, yes, our thoughts. We were linked together, Sophia, our minds never truly separate. Nephris wanted you to know. She thought it practical to tell you, but I forbade it. If you shared in our secret, you'd have shared in our blame. We understood the connection, Liana, Nephris, and myself. We could hear each other's thoughts when we chose to listen. And yes, we could speak to one another through our minds, but the bond became weaker with time as each of us grew slowly apart, became her own woman. Liana was the most difficult of all, living in a foreign land, adopting their language and customs. That is why we created the portals, so that Nephris could visit her, to ensure that she did not stray. We all watched over you, Sophia, and made our voices heard when you needed us. You were most precious of all.
I always heard you. Low voices, a crowd of people in another room. But when I'd search for you...
You could never find us, and you learned to ignore our voices over time. Just as we hoped, my sweet daughter. By your ignorance, we kept you safe. Even Ahriman never guessed what you really were. She was all that imagines and questions, withholds judgment, and sees all things anew. What better fragment to be my eyes in a foreign land than one that could love the land and its people as an old Thayan never could?
Nephris, the one I knew as mother, who was really just a fragment of you.
She is not gone, Sophia. Her fragment has returned to the whole, to me. She loved you dearly, as I do. Can you guess what part she was, daughter?
Your resolve, the unyielding scholar, the dutiful mother. A woman that men wouldn't love, but that a daughter could admire.
Not without sweetness to temper her, and that sweetness I gave to another. Of questions or of judgments? I never meant to leave you on your own. Liana would have told you what you were, enough to understand your curse, but not to lay the blame on me. Liana and Nephris, my hands in the world outside this sanctum. Ahriman slew them both. He had watched me, waiting for all my fragments to reveal themselves. He knew of Nephris already. When he found Liana, he struck. And you were abandoned, with only my Sophia to guard your way. Understand, when I knew Ahriman, he was the pale-faced little brother. So silent, so shy, he hardly spoke a word. I thought him centuries dead, like all the rest, and the years had changed him, as much or more than me. I was not looking for him, so I did not see. Nephris would have told you all this, the truth. She'd have given you the sword as well. But she'd have left one truth untold. You would never have learned of me. Nephris was prepared to play my part, and to die at your hand if need be. A simple piece of theater, a single lie, hidden beneath many truths. Liana knew stagecraft, and she thought that best. I would face the wall itself once I knew that Akachi was at peace, but not before. What if you fail? Do you think I wouldn't try again? I would sacrifice 1,000 like you if that's what it took to save him. Because you had the will to master the blade of Gith, and because through the sword you are bound to my beloved and to all the sword bearers. In a sense, you are his heir, the first in many long centuries, and some part of him knows it. You have more control over your hunger than any of the others. Akachi's fate is Merkel's doing, but your fate is mine. Here is the Sword of Gith, its pieces gathered together, the blade reforged as one. It will see you safely through the Betrayer's Gate, to the realm of the dead. I can do nothing more for you, for him. If I've earned your vengeance, then take it. Yes, I'll answer what I can. My beloved wore many faces before he was bound to you. The last was a Rashemi, a wizard. The wizard never knew what he was, but he tried to control the hunger, and he learned how it passed from one face to the next. So he struck a deal with the bear spirit and built wards in the lowest chamber of the barrow. He knew that the hunger would consume him, and when it did, the empty soul of my beloved would be trapped, unable to find a new mask. I helped him in this through Liena. She gave him knowledge of the proper wards. If my beloved was bound, I could keep a closer watch on him until I found a way to save him. That one studied amongst my people years ago. Even came to this academy for a time, to follow the trail of the sword. Nephris knew him by sight, and she knew the threat he posed. When our couriers took you, he followed, and she acted swiftly against him. Oh, he fought her, but he was weak from your battle, and Nephris was always the strongest of my fragments. Cruel, compared to your fate. Of all my cruelties in love's name, I have far worse to answer for. And that cruelty was a mercy in truth. Nephris counseled me to slay him, but I stayed her hand. His body and soul would have been restored once you were joined to Akachi, but Araman acted first. My magic was always different, tearing at forbidden boundaries, changing the nature of things, even before his curse gave it focus. A careless moment, concentration lost, a senseless mistake, that was all it took. I've never remembered it well, though I assumed the moment of my death would be difficult to precisely recall. A shadow passing across my eyes, a sudden confusion. They might have been real. Merkel's hand might have brushed my mind, cost me focus when I needed it most. Was it a test of faith? Did Akachi love me better, or his god? Merkel got his answer, whether he forced the point or not. I wasted years believing that I could somehow restore what he was. Scattered fragments of memory do not make a whole. You might give him silence, peace. That is the most I can hope. Even if a part of his essence exists in these fragments, you would have to face him somehow and join all his scattered pieces into one. How does one face an empty thing, a hunger that lies within you? Until you reclaim your own soul, you will be too weak. And when your soul is returned to you, the hunger will be snuffed out, and my Akachi will be silenced at last. Years ago, I dared hope for more. Do not make me walk that road again, when it is always for naught. My Akachi has become an emptiness that walks. Merkel would have you believe that nothing of him remains, but echoes of him still drift within. When he takes a mortal form, he casts out the soul, sends it to the wall, in the place where he once lay. If your soul could be returned to your mortal body, and his emptiness has no means of escape, I believe he could be filled up and snuffed out. And that part of him that remains would disperse, and know peace at last. The dead god said as much to me, and I gave him reason to speak the truth. Then only one thing remains.
She manipulated you, used you, and yet you... I didn't think anyone could forgive such an act. The Founder was right to trust in you, as was I. I promise you will be freed of this curse. Even if the gods themselves try to stop us, I will be by your side. You have my word.
Go then, and carry my hopes with you. Love is stronger than any justice meted out by a mad god. Let that be Merkel's legacy to the plains, that in the end his cruelty broke before a mortal's resolve.
This is way too much! I can't take all this!
Yes.
Oh, yes!